in a lot of ways, true to your faith. The movie, The Resurrection, that is, in works, in process. Talk to us about that. How did that all start? Where did Mel come back to you? You go to Mel. Where did all that begin?
All right, so I can tell you nothing about it, and I can tell you everything about it. There is no story. I dare anyone to come up with an assertion that there is a bigger story to tell than the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a writer named N.T. Wright who says, if you don't think the resurrection is preposterous, you've missed the point. it's that. Mm-hmm. So I have been fascinated with the resurrection since I was a boy. When you come to that part of the story, that's the part that the gospel writers found mysterious. And the notion that here are these common people, these disciples, fishermen, tax collectors, prostitutes, tavern owners, and they followed this man Jesus, and they believed in him, and now he's gone, and they're terrified. And 3 days later, it doesn't matter what you do to them, they will not stop saying they've seen him alive. Yeah. Now, you can explain that any way you want to, but I don't know how you explain it except to say, this blew
I'm with you.
Their minds, right? And I've had friends, I started a church at home, a home church for a while, and I invited a bunch of friends all of whom believed differently. Just let's get together and let's have a church. And we would just talk about what we believed in and why we believed it. And one of my friends, who's an incredible man, an incredible life of service, said, I don't believe Jesus said, I am the way. And I said, I know he said the way. I can prove he said the way. Because if he had said, I am a way, no one would have cared.
Right.
They crucified him because he said, I am the way. Now, we can argue about what the way means. Right. I love what C.S. Lewis said of, we know we're only saved through Christ. We just don't know all the ways that Christ saves. So I love that way of looking. But the resurrection fascinated me, and I studied it. It was my primary study when I was at Duke, both in undergraduate and as a graduate student. So Mel had directed Hacksaw Ridge. I had been offered that job to direct, and I'd rewritten the script. When the script came to me, it was called The CO, and I thought that was a terrible title for a conscientious objector. But The CO, what's that? Hacksaw Ridge, that's a good title. And I rewrote it. And then I had the chance to direct Heaven is for Real, and that movie was already ready to go. Yeah. So I said to the guys, I'd love to stay with Hacksaw Ridge, but I think Mel Gibson would be a perfect director. It turned out they had already gone to him and he had turned it down before they came to me, but they hadn't told me that. It's kind of like, somebody proposes to you because they had already proposed to your sister. And your sister wouldn't have him.
Yeah, but you could say you gave him his real lead, his real opening to be a director.
Yeah, yes. And the Hacksaw Ridge he was magnificent, doing that. He read my rewrite, and then he signed on, and then and I ended up with no screen credit on that movie.
Yeah, that's right.
But I wanted to go with him for the promotion of the movie. Now, Mel is a devout Catholic, right, but we were going to go to a lot of Protestant churches to promote the movie, and some of which were Pentecostal. And the Holy Spirit thing I love. I didn't grow up Pentecostal, but some of my best friends are, and I wanted to go with him, but I knew it was alien to him, so I went with him on the promotion. and Pentecostal churches were really alien for him. And we were having dinner one night, just the two of us in Dallas. And I said, the thing we need to do is the resurrection, because the passion. Now it's an interesting thing. Catholic friends have said, and I don't want to over characterize anyone's particular practice, but in Catholicism, there's much more emphasis on the crucifixion, on the passion. One Catholic friend of mine said, we almost never talk about the resurrection, and a crucifix for a Catholic, Jesus is on the cross. For a Protestant, it's Christ has risen. He's off the cross. And we need to tell that story. And he got really quiet for a moment. And I knew he was like, and Mel is absolutely brilliant. And I knew he was listening really intently. And I said, I'll write a screenplay, give it to you. We'll write it together. You do whatever you want to do, but we need to get going with this. This is the Mount Everest of all stories. And he got quiet again, and he said, I'm going to have a mass said for you because Satan's going to come after you. Mm. And I said, Mel, Satan has so many Baptists, he doesn't care about them. It's just like, he's got all the Baptists he wants. What about you? And we need to pray for you. And now it's beautiful when somebody wants to have a mass said for you. But I said, but he knew that it was the greatest challenge you could really take on. And it's a testament to him that it was the challenge, the danger, and one of the things he said to me was, this can't be for the money. It can't be to prove anything to anybody. It's this, our hearts have to be pure. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, for all the other things, and he and I have had some amazing conversations down through the years. Now, I knew at that moment how dedicated he was and that this was really going to be a ride. And the thing that I can tell you about it is that it's going to be unlike anything anyone has ever seen. It will be a movie that will be mind-blowing. It may be something that is disturbing and haunting, but it will be unforgettable.
Incredible.
How's that for a movie trailer?
Yeah, it's a great one.